All right, Ken, now you have a bill that passed the House and Senate that would stop residents from being charged with illegal deer baiting for feeding birds in their backyard. Can you elaborate a little bit on the details?
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. A lot of people are not aware of this, but, here in Michigan, if you're feeding birds or any recreational feeding, for that matter, whether you're feeding, chipmunks or squirrels, turkeys, what have you, that if a deer happens to show up where you're feeding, that's considered baiting by the DNR. And what my bill is going to undo is stop that from happening. It's going to allow people to recreational feed. Now, there's going to be limits on it. People certainly can't back a dump truck of sugar beets up and say, "Hey, I'm feeding recreationally the wildlife." There's a limit on how much you can put out and how far away you can put it from your house, and it's just going to bring some common sense and allow people who enjoy viewing wildlife a chance to do that without being turned into a criminal.
I usually ask how an issue is brought to a lawmaker's attention, but it's relatively well reported that this is something that you personally experienced and is actually what got you to run for office in the first place.
Yeah, I did. A number of years ago, I had an issue where the DNR came out and gave me a ticket because I have a webcam, the Snowman Cam, which is very popular. And people saw deer occasionally coming and eating some of the things that have dropped out of the bird feeder. So I took that to court. I was successful in that, and I thought the matter was done. And then a number of months later, they came out and ticketed me again. So I again took the DNR to court. I was successful. At that point, the judge declared the law unconstitutional, and then I thought it was done for sure. But the DNR persisted and continued to harass me, and so ultimately, I decided to run for office. And here I am, all these years later, and I happen to chair their budget right now.
Right. I know it's not the first time you tried to pass this legislation. Why was it vetoed previously? Was it just politics, or did the governor not actually? Was she not in favor of it originally?
Yeah, Nick, you're right. In fact, I've saved the recording from the governor's office for all these years. This was my very first bill 5.5 years ago, and it passed the House and Senate. It was bipartisan. It passed overwhelmingly. It got to the governor, and she vetoed it. And I got a message from the governor's office that the DNR was just still concerned about CWD and TB, and didn't think it was a good idea to allow people to feed their birds again. So she vetoed it, and it reintroduced it again last year. It passed overwhelmingly in the House. It's been sitting in the Senate now for the last year and a half, waiting for a hearing. But we made it part of the budget bill. It was part of the negotiations. And at this point, it looks like the governor is going to sign it. It passed unanimously in the Senate this time, and like I said, overwhelmingly in the House, too, bipartisan.
Do you know the history behind this regulation, when and maybe why it was passed into law, about, if the bird seed falls to the ground and deers come up and, it can be qualified as baiting? Because I feel like this, if the public had known, that would have been a hard sell.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of people even today that are shocked by saying, "Kidding me? I've been feeding birds all along." And in fact, it's funny. Even the judge in my case said that she recreationally fed too, and it was shocked to hear of such a law. But people, I'll tell you, the only people that know about it, unfortunately, are the people that wind up getting a ticket for it. And that was the heartbreaking part for me. Obviously, I was in a position I could have afforded to just pay the ticket and been done with it. But, I was receiving emails, calls, texts from people, a lot of elderly people who, really enjoy the peace and solitude of being able to watch the wildlife. And now all of a sudden they've got a misdemeanor on their record. These are law-abiding people. They've never even had a parking ticket in their life, and now literally they have a criminal offense on their record. And I just had to put a stop to that.
During this whole process of yours, correct me if I'm wrong, there is work being done on a bill that would legalize deer baiting during open season. So to some degree, residents could see kind of two levels of relief if that were to ever pass too.
Yeah, that you're right. That is something, that's never been a part of my fight. Personally, I don't hunt. I'm very pro hunting. Yeah, I'm not a hunter. I realize that is something that a lot of hunters want. In fact, they say that because of that, they're not hunting anymore. A lot of folks aren't coming up north because they can't bait and they don't see anything. But yeah, my issue is a different issue.
Final question for you. What are some of the primary focuses of the House now that the budget is passed?
Well, I'll tell you, this is a lot of people find this hard to believe. We're already starting on the next budget. Literally, there's a lot of work and a lot of time that goes into preparing a budget. And a lot of our priorities are going to continue to be rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse. We go through our budgets, we find things, we talk to the departments, we talk to stakeholders. We need to find out if these programs are working, are our citizens getting the best bang for their buck, and if they're not, those programs need to go away. And if there's any excess fund that's being squirreled away somewhere, that money should be returned to the taxpayers, and that's what we're going to focus on here, certainly in this next budget cycle.
We are speaking with State Representative Ken Borton. Ken, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk about my bill.